Hey, what's up, everybody out there in the XRP community? Welcome back to Investment Perspectives. Okay, so today I wanted to talk about a couple things. One of the main things that I wanted to jump into today was the DX.Exchange. I know that they launched today. Very happy for those guys and girls there. But I wanted to get into a few things specifically about the platform, and then a couple other little points along the way, and then we'll wrap it up. But for anybody wanting to follow me, you can follow me on Twitter at Backup Bradley, BAKKUP Bradley, LEY, no spaces, at Backup Bradley. So yeah, you can follow me on Twitter, and most of everything that we talk about here I usually share on Twitter. So okay, real quick, just to follow up, wanted to give a quick shout out to Crypto Eddie. She did a great job. She got contact from one of the senators who sponsored the bill, the Taxonomy Act, in the last Congress. That bill is no longer a live bill, so it went dead when the Congress ended. So there'll need to be another bill submitted, or that bill reintroduced, to get it moving again. And much like Congress works, I would imagine, you know, we should look for either that bill to be revived or another one very similar to it brought forth. So we'll have to keep an eye out on that. And a real quick point to that, on a lesser level, on a more of a state level, there was two Colorado senators today that introduced the Colorado Digital Token Act. Now, that was specific to the state of Colorado, so we'll have to wait and see if anything helps to build off of that, or helps encourage people to resubmit the Taxonomy Act or something of that nature. But this bill is geared more towards the state of Colorado to bring more entrepreneurs that want to build on applications of the new Web 3.0 platforms and applications. And it's also designed for people who want to be more crypto friendly, that are already businesses that exist in Colorado. So again, that's kind of what's going on there. Big shout out to Crypto Eddie for clearing that matter up and letting us know that the Taxonomy Act is actually no longer a live bill. The new Congress is going to need to resubmit that bill or one like it to get that moving. Okay, so now I bring that up, and I want to move on now to the DX.Exchange. And this is really just a powerful platform. And when we look at this, I think we really get a look into the future of the way the powers that be see the new traditional markets, right? You know, and the new platforms for the traditional markets, I should say. So, okay, so looking at this article, the Daily Hodl, which everybody I think has heard about, looked at, or reported on, but I want to go into a little bit about the platform itself. All right, so now the title of it is Revealed Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Litecoin, and Cardano Coming to Crypto and Wall Street Game Changer, DX.Exchange. So, okay, so let's look at this, because if you haven't had a chance to drill down into what the platform is, what it's doing, what it's offering, I think we should do it here and give it a good once over. So the highly anticipated crypto exchange, digital stocks trading platform, DX.Exchange, just revealed its full list of crypto trading pairs. And they are, on day one, the platform will support Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Litecoin, Cardano, Omizgo, Enigma Share Token, and Digibyte. All coins will be paired with the US dollar. That's important right there, right? And we'll talk about that again. So XRP and Cardano will be paired also with the Japanese yen, and XRP and Digibyte will be paired with the euro as well. So it's the Estonia-based exchange is making headlines as it gears up for its imminent launch, which is today, January 7th. Also on day one, the platform plans to offer tokenized stocks backed by real shares of the 10 of the biggest companies on NASDAQ, which would be Apple, Amazon, Baidu, Facebook, Google, Intel, Microsoft, Netflix, NVIDIA, and Tesla. So these are enormous changes that we're seeing taking place right before our eyes, right? Okay. So the digital stocks will be based on actual shares held by MPS, Marketplace Securities, and holders will be entitled to the same cash dividends. Pretty nice. Traders will be able to buy and sell the digital stocks 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, just like crypto, right? Sidestepping the traditional open and closed nature of the stock market. So again, you're really starting to get a real clear look at what they see for a new platform for the traditional markets going forward, and how crypto is making an impact on that. Take a look at what we just talked about and what I just read, and think about the impact that crypto's brought to that vision of that. It's really massive. So the platform will give foreign investors a unique way to enter the U.S. markets. The exchange will launch the zero trading fees, and says about 500,000 people have already pre-registered to start trading for today when it goes live, right? So the exchange, which is powered by NASDAQ's world-class matching engine, says it's fully registered and compliant. A company's CEO told Bloomberg it doesn't need approval from U.S. regulators. Okay. And then it says, in a quoted caption here, even though U.S. regulators overseeing trading of DX's initial roster of stocks, Chief Executive Officer Daniel Skowronski, I believe Skowronski, and if I've said it wrong, forgive me, said he doesn't need permission from the Americans to offer this service because DX doesn't operate there. The company says it's licensed by Estonian Financial Intelligence Unit with full authorization to operate in the European Union. So there you have it. So far, regulators, including the SEC, have declined to publicly comment on the exchange. I just look at this as like, when I see that they're all coins will be paired with the U.S. dollar, right? And they've obviously picked Estonia so they can operate without the U.S. regulator issues, right? They've backdoored their way into NASDAQ through their software to offer top 10 of their stocks, right? I just feel like, there's an analogy that I was using earlier, and I think it's relevant here. Is like when casinos were moving into different states, and the neighboring state didn't have a casino in the United States, but the state beside it did. Well, their largest revenue came from the neighboring state residents, right? So if Delaware had a casino, most of their customers were Maryland residents that would come there and spend because they didn't have a casino. So I guess it's not the same, but I think the analogy is still good here, that, it just paints the picture that there's that leverage, right? Estonia is taking U.S. clients, and even if they're like the U.S. is, even if a U.S. resident isn't allowed somehow to participate in this, they're pulling U.S. dollars because they're paired to U.S. dollars. And I think that's the biggest point for me, is not only just the vision of what the platform's going to look like going forward, because it looks amazing. And you can really see, just on the face of what they're describing, offering stocks where you can buy them in a fractional amount like you do crypto, the market being 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, just like crypto, you really start to see the impact of what these guys are learning from this nascent industry that it's emerging out of thin air here, and is now getting ready to move into traditional markets. And what I think is amazing about that is that the people in the traditional markets are going to bring some of the tendencies from crypto into that traditional market, and I think that's fantastic. So that's really good. And I just wanted to point that out because I do feel like the way they're positioning themselves and backdooring into NASDAQ's platform to offer those top 10 main stocks like that. I mean, these aren't little things. I mean, these are big things. So I can't help but feel like that's positive leverage to put on the U.S. government to make sure new Congress, old Congress, don't matter Congress, get your ass in there and get something drafted and legislated so we can get this ball rolling, because this is the way you keep the pressure going to make sure it doesn't stall out in the in a 4th and 1 scenario or the 11th hour, right? So I think that's important. All right, so let's move on. Another thing I wanted to talk about also, crypto exchange Kraken says U.S. subpoenas are becoming a barrier to entry. They've been hit with some. The firm received a total of 475 subpoenas in 2018. Now, from different agencies, right? And even some of them are different parts of the world, different countries. But the majority of them have come from the U.S. And it says here that 91 came from Homeland Security's investigations, followed by 67 were followed by the FBI, and another 40 from the DEA, Drug Enforcement Agency, and the SEC and the CFTC made up 29 requests combined. So I don't know about you, but I don't hear about this stuff with Binance, and I don't hear about this stuff with anybody else. I really don't. Uphold, I mean, maybe this is happening and we don't know. Maybe this is a story just for Kraken, right? You know, what the hell's going on over Kraken, you know? But listen, if it is, I mean, it is a point to be made, whether it's just for Kraken's exchange or whether this is actually broadly taking place. What my thought or notion on it is that what we're seeing is how many of those subpoenas into things were happening. I think it just goes part and parcel to the fact that we're seeing the big cleanup. If we're going to be able to roll all of these cryptocurrencies, or at least the majority, top 10, whatever it is, that are going to make it and live into tomorrow's run, into this new traditional emerging markets that we're going to see us going into now, this is the kind of barrier entry that's going to take place. Because it seems like to me that was a lot of different agencies. So it seems like to me that people are starting to really press down, and you start to see some of the behind the scenes stuff that is taking place on these exchanges where they're really looking to clean house and make sure they know what they're dealing with, who's a bad actor and who isn't. So just wanted to make that point on that. Okay, so now pulling back a little bit, going macro, we know that there's a global recession coming, and we know that we've had tons of good news all along the way with this bear market, yet the price doesn't move, right? You know, should almost get a shirt, you know. So I wanted to point out today, because in those moments, even when we see something exciting like DX.Exchange open up, and the price doesn't move, you know, and those kinds of things, I think at the end of the day, what I think of that really, really brings me like, okay, this is going to need to happen, and the crypto space is going to need to be relied on for that next source of liquidity, and specifically XRP. Because the IMF First Deputy Managing Director said today, as according to Zero Hedge here, right? The IMF warned that the leaders of the world's largest countries are dangerously unprepared for the consequences of the serious global slowdown. The IMF's chief concern is that much of the ammunition to fight a slowdown has been exhausted, and governments will find it hard to use fiscal or monetary measures to offset the next recession. What does that mean? And then he goes on to also say, while the system of cross-border support mechanisms, such as central bank swap lines, has been undermined. The system's outdated, and our normal protocol on how we deal with a recession is not available to us. So guys, I always think of this, and this alone. The world needs liquidity. and XRP is it. Guys, I'm going to wrap it right there. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe. Leave some comments down below. Let's keep this thing going. We cracked 3,000 subs in less than 60 days. We are tearing it up. Let's keep it going. Thank you so much, and I'll catch you on the next one. All right, bye.